Hello, everybody. My name is Devin, and I'm joined by my good friend,
Marek.
and we are starting the very first episode, the inaugural episode of WCU Talks Baton Pass. Whoa!
I can hear all the applause ringing out throughout the stadium. All the fans, lots of folks are very excited for today.
Yeah, you know what? We were so excited. We definitely peaked every audio channel we have recorded. That's hopefully we can post-process that out, so we don't blow up the eardrams of everyone listening.
We don't have insurance for that. Not yet, at least. We have a big budget, about $1 million, I believe, but we'll see.
I'm sure we can get that worked out, no problem. But I think you have our what we're starting with today. Is that right?
Well, you might be wondering, what is Baton Pass? Now, Baton Pass, well, this is through Westchester University, WCU Talks. But we're not talking about school. We're talking about games, video games. And I mean, come on, who doesn't like games? You like games, Devin?
I love games. I play them almost daily.
It's the beginning of 2023. It's February, which means the year has just begun. So let's take a look back at 2022. And a lot of good games came out in 2022. I believe Croc came out. What else came out? Elden Ring came out.
Elden Ring did come out. God of War Ragnarok?
Yep.
I think that came out last year.
Stray.
Oh yeah, Stray. I forgot about that.
I didn't play any of those.
I didn't play it at all.
Most of the games I played didn't come out I always play, I don't know about you, but I always find myself playing games that come out like the year before. So in this year I'll play the 2022 games, and then next year I'll play the 2023 games.
Yeah, I think I'm generally the same way. There are a couple games that I definitely play on release, and because I'm just so excited for them, so I get them right when they come out. But if it's outside of that, then I'm definitely playing them much further down the line. So I believe then, Marek, that you wanted to talk about the best games that we played in the year of our Lord, 2022.
Yes, our Lord being, well, me, of course, because I'm just a great guy. But 2022 was a pretty good year for games. There was a lot of good stuff came out, a lot of okay stuff, but come on. We like to be optimistic here. So we both have our top fives.
Yeah, I mean, I think my top five is more like a 5 games that stuck with me as opposed to my definite top 5.
Yeah.
Just 5 that I was able to remember that I enjoyed playing last year.
We'll start from the bottom of the list-ish, and we're going to go back and forth is what we're going to do, just to keep you in the loop, folks. My quote-unquote number 5 is Little Gator Game. Now this game, let me tell you about Little Gator Game. It's actually Lil Gator Game, like L-I-L, but it's just easier to say Little. This came out, I don't know who made it, but a very lovely studio. I think it was their first game. It's a little indie game, and you play as a little gator, and that's it. No, but basically, it's kind of like Zelda Breath of the Wild, but more like a short hike, which is kind of like Zelda, so it's a mishmash.
Between Zelda and Zelda?
Yeah, pretty essentially, yeah. And I thought there'd be like combat and all this other cool stuff because everyone was saying, oh, this is like a mini Breath of the Wild. Again, like I said, it's like a mini short. It's like a short hike type game. If you've played that, that's Zelda, where it's all like exploration, no combat.
Yeah, what you're saying is it's a charming, adventure-focused game
with a little character,
with just a little bit of character.
With a little guy you play as. Yeah. Sure, he plays a bird. You're like this little, like you're an 8-year-old little kid, and your big sister is off at college, but you go on like a spring break little vacation at this park, and it's a very like compact world. You have all these funny little characters. They all have their funny little dialogue, and you go around and do these tasks to build the town, kind of like
Among Us.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Okay.
It's just like Among Us. It's the first Among Us type game that came out 2022, except it came out at like the very end of December. So.
Okay. I've actually never, played or really seen much of this, so this is about the first time that I'm hearing it.
It's a wholesome type game. It's very, it's kid friendly. Tell your mom could play it.
Get your mom to play this game right now.
I got it it was on sale the first little week it came out. But you go around as a gator, you have a dive, you can pick up a stick and hit stuff with it. But instead of fighting little enemies, you just fight little cardboard cutouts of enemies.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's completely low stakes. And from Zelda, you have the paraglider straight out of Zelda. You have shield surfing right?
So they really went for it.
But
huh?
that's honestly, I feel like it's better than Zelda Shield Surf, especially because you don't have the durability.
I was gonna say, yeah, that was the thing that sucked with Breath of the Wild is you could only shield surf down one mountain, and then whatever shield you were using was
Yep.
just done. So that's
It's
cool
not,
though.
It's not like the sliding in Fortnite. It's a lot better.
Big fan of Fortnite.
But we're not talking about Fortnite. Now. We got Fortnite later. But you have all these little customization options. You have all these different outfits. Basically, it's very easy to 100%. It's like 4 hours long.
Okay.
Listen, you got $15 and you got an evening, buy a little Gator game. I don't want to spoil too much because the story, it's not, anything mind-blowing, but I do think it's worth, preserving the experience of. So, no little Gator game spoilers in this podcast.
Absolutely zero. You better not comment anything about Little Gator game spoilers. We'll get on you.
Little Gator game spoilers in the comments. There's gonna be a big drama.
A big stern talking to.
Yeah. So, my number 5, Little Gator game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually need to check that out because that's not on my radar at all. Like those kind of games, like I do not come across them through my social media or really any way of me learning about video games. So hearing about it from someone like you perhaps would be the only way that I would really.
It's the first Gator type game that came out ever.
Is that right? The first and only Gator type game?
It's like, Croc was a crocodile type game, but Little Gator game is a Gator type game.
I see.
So remember that. Put that in your notes, everyone who's taking notes right now.
Well, I can't think of a better transition to my 5th game of 2022 gaming experience. For me, though, I also went with like a cutesy little indie game.
Oh.
Funnily enough, even though I just said I don't really come across them that much.
Liar.
My 5th game of the year, 2022, was Donut County.
Oh.
If you're not familiar with Donut County, first of all, how? But second of all,
Who we talking?
it's another one of those cutesy, fun, just really does not take itself seriously type of games, where the whole premise is stuff falls down holes, and those holes are something that you control. And I don't know if I can go too much more than that when it comes to depth, because, well, frankly, there isn't that much more to talk about when it comes to gameplay.
It's like Katamari Damacy, except instead of rolling up stuff, you get rid of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And you play as a little raccoon called BK. I recommended this to Devin.
Yes, so he does know about it. This is my game, though, that I feel like it is now my turn to speak. So, but yeah, Donut County, man. It's just, it was one of those games that I think it probably max you could spend like 3 hours on. I don't really feel like it's possible to spend longer than that. Unless you really, really suck. You just cannot beat like the last level. Because that's like the only one that you really can fail. It's like right?
Yeah.
It's just the last level. I'm pretty sure.
It's a good level.
But the game up to that point, though, super charming, really funny, has its own sense of humor that you don't really see in any other games, especially with the item descriptions and like the glossary or whatever that they give you. If you want, there's a whole lot to this game that you can just deep dive into and just find little bits of comedy spread throughout. So very cool, very neat, concise, interesting game that you could finish in an afternoon, and I'm also going to put that at my 5th spot.
I think it's called the Quackopedia or something.
I don't
know.
It's Trashopedia.
Trashopedia, yeah.
Trashopedia.
Because there's a little duck. It's like that. Wow, 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 wow. That's the song that plays after every level, and you see all the little funny stuff, and it's like, there's a stick of butter, and the description is, it's made out of milk. I don't know. That's the kind of jokes they got in there. It's funny.
Well, do you want to talk about your 4th game then?
My number 4 is Into the Breach. Now, Into the Breach, let me tell you about this game. I found this game, I think, at the beginning of last year, and it's a turn-based strategy type game. So if you played Fire Emblem, right? Imagine Fire Emblem in your head, right? Now take out the anime nonsense. Take that out. We don't talk about that. And then shrink the board, the grid, the chessboard down to like a third of that size. And then you've got 3 robots, and then the enemies are a bunch of bugs. The goal is to kill all the bugs, or maybe you gotta build a dam with water by exploding the dam with the rocket, or protecting your civilization guys, because you've got the power, you've got the stars, you've got all this stuff going on, but it's like you're micromanaging, but also it's not overwhelming.
Okay.
But it's the best turn-based combat I ever played. I can't.
Wow.
Nothing,
Bold claim.
That is, at least for that format with like the grid-based. I think.
Over Fire Emblem?
Yeah.
Really, dude.
It's like really nice, and it's like the TikTok of chess type games, you know.
Of chess type games,
Yeah.
even better than one game where it's like chess with a gun or whatever.
Oh, FPS chess.
FPS chess, even better.
I
than
tried
that?
playing that, but nobody was online.
So you have to play online?
I think so.
Huh. Okay. Well, interesting. That's another game that I have not played. Maybe you just have awful taste. I don't know.
No, that's not true. It got a new update at the end of last year. They just added a bunch of new team guys, all these bugs. Or not bugs, the robots. You play as the robots. You can play as bug team, but that's kind of a spoiler. So if you were really, wanting to get into the breach and you really invested in the lore because of my explanation, I'd like to apologize profusely. But Into the Breach, peak turn-based combat, maybe only second to Persona for me.
Wow. I don't even think I would put Persona in like top 5 for turn-based combat. But I think you like the style. You like the maybe things that go beyond just pure gameplay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
It's just got this. It's like an 8x8 board. You got these guys. You're doing all these cool combos, and you set them up to go. You kind of just place them about. So it's like the moves do go one by one, but you can also reset your turn and go back, kind of like Fire Emblem. I think they might have stolen that from Into the Breach. So think next time, before you diss Into the Breach, think about what you're talking about.
The Godfather that came before Fire Emblem.
It's like Into the Breach is Sopranos and Breaking Bad is Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
They share a lot in common.
Right. Well, my fourth, not to just completely dismiss what you were saying here, but my fourth, I would have to go with Inscription, specifically Casey's mod, which was a free expansion that added a roguelike element to the end of the game. So the only way you could access this was if you had already beaten the story, before, and which I had actually beaten the story before 2022. So that's why I'm specifically just want to talk about the Casey's mod edition here. Now, for those unfamiliar, and I feel like this game should be more well-known just because of how good it is.
Yep.
But I feel like it's almost doomed to obscurity just purely because it wasn't made by like a AAA studio, and that kind of thing. But I did see a sale. It was one of like the first results on like the New Year's sale on the Sony, like the PlayStation store platform. There was a sale, and it was like the first one. It was like Inscription, GTA 5, Tom Clancy's, kind of stuff. And so it was like right before all those big, EA type games. So maybe people do know about this. I hope they do, because it is a beautiful game that I almost can't talk about at all.
Yeah, no.
Because it's so, you need to play it. I cannot even touch on the story just because there's so much to it. It's a really good narrative done by a very small group of people. And so, huge props to them and what they were able to accomplish, both gameplay-wise and narratively. I think both are standouts in this game. But if you were to boil it down to its essence, I would say Inscription is a card-based, almost psychological horror, almost, not quite, almost roguelike.
It probes your mind.
Yeah, it's a card-based battler. That's like the main mechanic, is card-based battler. But there's just... that is so reductionist to just say that's what it is.
Very unique. I think it's earned its 97% positive review score on Steam.
Well, I'm glad it has that high because this game, all-time favorite for me, and it really deserves it. And the free edition that they added, it really adds. Well, I think the one thing it was missing was replay value. I replayed it 3 times just because I really like it, but each subsequent time, I was focused more on how can I engage with the gameplay in a different way, rather than the story was what, drew me back. But Casey's mod specifically gives you that little bit of lore. It gives you this roguelike replayability that, a lot of really good games have, such as Hades, did the same thing, being able to play the same thing over and over again and still have a good time. This does that just as well, in my opinion. So definitely, if you have a chance, check this out. If it's not on sale, it's probably like, what, $20.
20 bucks? That's
yeah.
worth it. I would pay $1 million for
Yeah,
that.
and considering, Call of Duty is going for 70.
Yeah, listen, game prices, don't even get me started, Paulie.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's definitely a point of diminishing returns with game prices these days, but this one's only 20, and if you can find it on sale, which I'm sure you can, it goes on sale relatively often these days, definitely pick it up because it is a game that you will enjoy unlike any other.
They're good puzzles. I feel like they weren't. I feel like a lot of puzzle games are like, okay, this is too hard, I need to look this up. But Inscription, I feel like a lot of it made sense, and I didn't have to, maybe for like the extra achievements I had to Google stuff personally, but for the base, going through the game, it was like, okay, so that makes sense, then I do this thing, and I go to the, well, I can't tell you what I go to find the thing.
We have to tiptoe. We can't say anything.
We could, but it's
not worth it.
It's a good game. It's
Yeah.
a good one. It's a great one even. Amazing.
Honestly, I maybe could have put it higher, but I am sticking purely on this placement because it's just the Casey's Mod Edition. I probably would have put this higher if it wasn't for that limitation. Your third game.
My third game. We're talking roguelikes. We're talking Inscription. Now let me tell you about the best roguelike in the roguelike game. Risk of Rain 2. Oh, Risk of Rain 2. It's like pizza. And I love pizza.
It's like pizza.
It's like a good pizza. And listen to this. They had this DLC that came out in March of last year. Survivors of the Void. Now,
I'm very familiar.
Now, if Risk of Rain 2 is pizza, then Survivors of the Void is some blue cheese. Because when I go to Papa John's, I like to dip the pizza in the blue cheese.
Wow, there's a lot that you just revealed about yourself
Okay.
with that one analogy. I mean, if you enjoy Papa John's pizza with blue cheese, then I'm sure this is a great game.
No. Okay, maybe if you don't like Papa John's, forget about the pizza. Point is, this is a good darn game, alright? To begin with, Risk of Rain 2 is already peak. It's 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, billion points on the gamer score, right? You've got just an amazing variety of characters, level design, the music, oh come on.
Yeah. Props to that guy, whoever that was, who composed it.
It's like Chris Condolo. It's like his last name has Chris in it, and then it's like something else.
I think it's Greek, so
Yeah.
excuse our inability to pronounce foreign names. We are in an American education system, so I apologize for that. But yeah, Chris.
How do you pronounce Baton?
Not too sure, but Risk of Rain 2.
Risk of Rain 2. Survivors of the Void. It added what? It added 2 new characters. You got the Void guy. You got Railgunner. Honestly, the characters, I don't really care for them. Like they're definitely really good, but personally, I stick with my mains.
Well, I think you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit here. What really is Risk of Rain 2 as like a core gameplay? Like, how would you describe the core gameplay of Risk of Rain 2?
You know what a roguelike is, right? The levels are not randomized in terms of the design, but the order. So you have all these different levels. The order that you go in them is randomized, and then you pick your character, you pop in, and you go level to level. But there's a timer, and as you go on, as the time goes on, it gets harder. You see the little difficulty increase, right? So you can stick around and get more items, which are also randomized. And that's where it gets good, right? Or you can try to go through it faster, and hopefully it's easier. Personally, I just kind of go like at a decent pace. I try not to rush too much, but also try not to be too slow.
Yeah,
if you like to go fast, this game is good because you can stack 200 Paul's goat hoofs and have plus 1 billion% movement speed and go zippity zoom. So
yeah, I think the dynamic between going fast and getting items is really what separates this from any other roguelike, because it forces you to make a choice, and depending on how well the run is going, you are forced to adapt. Like, yeah. I can't stay in this level. I have to go through as fast as possible because I spent so much time in the last one. Or I did so well and I got so many good items, I can take my time here and really just focus on getting as many items and clearing out as many enemies as I can before I go on to the next level. That in and of itself, without even getting into the Survivors of the Void expansion, it just makes for such a good, well thought out and deep roguelike that I think it surpasses the hurdle of, or rather the hurdle that many roguelikes struggle with, which is not being replayable enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can make something really replayable. Like Hades is a good example of a game that you can find a way to make every run, like every single run, replayable through progression. Risk of Rain 2 does it through pure gameplay. You can replay it because the gameplay itself is just so replayable. Not because you're getting stronger with each run, but just because the gameplay is that good.
Yeah, Hades to a point is very replayable, but once you kind of get to the end, there isn't that much more. But Risk of Rain, I mean, this is just an excuse to talk about Risk of Rain 2, honestly. Survivors of the Void, they added a couple new levels, new music, a bunch of new items, but they added like a new equipment thingy where it's like the Void items, so it's inverted items that you would have had before. So there's bustling fungus, which, you know, that came out in the original, just the game release, and that when you stand still you heal. But what is it called? Weeping fungus, it's when you sprint you heal, so you can stack that, and they combine, so it's only one or the other. So before, okay, well, now you're more inclined to try to stay still, but now, okay, now you gotta be on the move if you want to stay alive, which you kind of want to do regardless. But good game. And you got, what else do you got? You got the goat hoof. And the goat hoof.
You gotta love how the cosmetics do. So if you pick up the goat hoof, it shows up on your character.
Oh, I love that.
And so you create the most unholy abominations ever seen.
You got like you got these little claws on you. You have a little like turret on top of you.
It just becomes a lot.
Feather hop. You can. There's, you know, most games have double jump. This game has a billion jump because you can stack the feathers, and you know.
And then you Shrine of Order, so you have 27 Hapu feathers.
If you like to kill and be good and win, even if you suck at Risk of Rain 2, you feel like you're a god, because once you get to, you know, like stage 3, you have a notable amount of items. You know, if you stack at least one thing 5 times, then you're going big mode. So even though the odds are stacked against you, it's pretty even because you're also a force to be reckoned with.
I do not disagree. It's a very, very cool game, very cool experience. Definitely something that everyone should check out if you're a fan of roguelikes.
If you're a fan of good games, check out Risk of Rain 2.
That too. So my third game, a little bit out of left field here. Not a standard pick, I feel like, for the average gamer. I have Shadows Over Loathing, which was the unannounced, unplanned, unbeknownst to the world until release sequel to West of Loathing, which was a stick-based turn RPG. I don't even know how to describe it. Your stick figures traveling through the West. This is the original game, West of Loathing. Your stick figures traveling through the Wild West because the cows came home, and cows are demonic figures that destroy the world and taint humanity. And so you have to go out west to kill the cows. There's so much to it. It is just so insane. There's like a necromancer you have to kill at some point. Then there's like this futuristic society. This is all in the prequel. Shadows Over Loathing. The game that just came out, which would be my number 3 on this list here. This takes that and dials it up to 12. It takes place not in the Wild West, but in the Roaring 20s. So all of the comedy and all of the humor, you know, instead of being based on like old-timey humor and juxtaposing like modern technologies to old stuff, this game kind of does like a look how crazy the 20s were, just what insane stuff people were drinking and doing and drinking and drinking. So
they were like drinking like
they were drinking a lot. It's a pretty
oil and stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Definitely like paint thinner and shoe shine, like kind of just all put in there.
I do like to drink just like a mug of paint thinner every so often.
Yeah. When you can't have alcohol, because I think technically prohibition is in effect in the game, but you own a bar. As like you own a bar in the game.
I don't have to know.
So yeah, you own a speakeasy. That's what they're called. So if you've ever wanted to own a speakeasy as a stick figure and you love jazz, there's a lot of jazz in this game. Then check it out. But it really, the main focus and the thing I cannot stress enough about both West of Loathing and Shadows Over Loathing is the comedy. The game is just so funny. It's text-based, so there's not a lot of physical humor. Just the most insane collection of words put together on screen that when read, it just, you can't help but laugh. It really is just such an incredible, well thought out, well written game that if you like the text-heavy format, like the old school PC games like from 2005 type of text, a lot of windows and text, then this game would be right up your alley, because it is really modeled after that sort of gaming experience, but it puts its own unique modern spin on it that I just think will resonate with a lot of the younger audience as well, especially with the humor. Man, the humor anybody would laugh at that. Jokes. It's just so funny.
Don't even get me started on the stupid walking. That's the best part of the game.
That's not even in Shadows over Loathing.
It's not?
So, okay.
Wait.
If you don't know, which I don't blame you, this is pretty obscure. West of Loathing had a stupid walking mode, where it would just cycle through the most insane walking animations possible as just something that you could totally miss. You had to read a bookshelf in the starting area like 10 times just to find it. Like, it would keep repeating the same stuff, but if you clicked it 10 times, you'd get it. Well, in Shadows over Loathing, your character puts on different shoes, and depending on the shoes that they wear is the walk that they do. So I actually, when I played through, I only did the normal walk. I didn't have any of the stupid walking animations because they make noise. They're really loud and annoying. Like, unless you're at the hobo camp where all your sound effects turn into jazz, which, by the way, very cool feature. Love that. Thank you, Asymmetric. It's really just annoying, and it sucks because I loved stupid walking. But it's not as good. Not as good in this game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think there are two types of games nowadays. There's ones that have stupid walking and ones that don't. You gotta choose when you're a game developer. You gotta choose which camp you'll be in. Don't
even think about subtitles. Will there be stupid walking or will there be normal walking? You have to make the decision now.
It's not up to me.
Well, I think let's get into. We should probably hurry this up a little bit. We're starting to take up people's valuable time here, so let's start maybe speeding things up.
We're talking about speed. What better game to put my number to than Neon White? Now, Neon White, if you look at the game, you might think, what is this anime nonsense? What am I looking at? Don't skip all the dialogue. Don't worry about that. Even I don't like. That's why I give it a 4.9 out of 5. The 0.1 is for the I subtract that. The story, who cares about that? But the gameplay, billion points, 1 billion points. So it's like I know I'm saying, like, this is a frog type game, this is a gator type game, all these little guys. But this is like a actual speedrunning type game where it's made with speedrunning in mind. You don't see a lot of that nowadays. Back, games like Super Mario 64. And Super Mario 64. All the
don't forget Super Mario 64.
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, a lot of the games that are speedrun, a whole bunch. Most of them were even made before speedrunning was a thing. But Neon White takes that into account, and you have, of course, the personal leaderboard. But you have all these little, you're zooming around. It's a first-person shooter too, which is crazy. So it's a first-person shooter platformer, but you gotta go fast. You gotta zippity zoom around. It's kind of like the visuals are a little crude, but they're nice and clean. It's a weird vibe, but I don't know. You're like in hell or something, and you gotta kill the demons. But every level has a certain amount of enemies, so you'll see the counter, and you have to kill all the enemies before you can actually complete the level. So as you're going through, you want to go beam, bam, boom. But you have all these different cards that you pick up, and each card corresponds to a different weapon. So like the pistol is the yellow card, but when you discard the card by right clicking and you double jump. Or the SMG, you right click that and you shoot a little boosty thing. For the shotgun, you discard that and you dash forward. So that you also have inventory management, and the levels, it makes you feel like you're good at games. I feel like that and Risk of Rain 2 are both really good examples of just games that make you feel like
just because
really
of
good.
How fun the game is, that how fluid all the mechanics sort of roll together. It just makes you feel like I'm really good. And
then you finish and it's like, all right, bronze medal. Okay.
And then all of a sudden, cold reality washes over you.
Yeah. If you play Neon White, just know the gold medal. There's gold medals, but there's also the blue medals, which is like really good. And then I think there's red medals, which is for like beating the developer times. So
there's a lot of competition.
Good luck with that.
Against yourself and those around you.
Yeah.
And that's cool though. That's one of those games I feel like I need to check out. Just because I'm a huge fan of speedrunning. You made the sly comment earlier about how games came out before speedrunning, which I was gonna mention is slightly incorrect, considering speedrunning started, back with Doom and all that. I mean, when did that come out? Like, we're gonna be roasted by anyone who knows when Doom came out. At least 1492. They sailed the ocean blue. Doom was created. Speedrunning started.
I just work here.
Yeah. My point is, though, speedrunning is such a cool, like, storied history within the realm of video gaming, and this game, I think, does, at least according to your description, it does a good job of paying homage to that and really expanding upon it in a way that not a lot of games focus on. So
Yeah.
that seems like something to be really cool to check out, and that's probably number 1 on my list of games that I would like to try.
It's really good. They came out in June. I mean, it's kind of just shoved into a Nintendo Direct. That's how they revealed it. And then I was like, I'm keeping my eye on this because I think the same guy who made Donut County made this actually.
Really?
So I'm like, that's a complete 180.
I was gonna say,
going from like funny little raccoon with the donut and holes to, okay, you're in hell and you're killing guys and you're going really fast. Like, okay.
I guess he just has right brain, left brain,
Yeah.
and this is the representation of one of them.
Get you a man that can do both, as they said back in 2014, little Instagram.
I used to say that.
Yeah. It's like
That was me.
One picture of you like making a silly face, one picture of you making a serious face.
Yeah, it's like there are two wolves inside of me. Yeah.
One goes honk shoe, one goes. I can't do the me sound. There you go.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
have it.
Hopefully that picked that up. I hope that's picked up. All right. So my number 2 game, actually, we're gonna skip it because my number 2 game was also Risk of Rain 2.
Oh.
And so we already talked about it. Can't say enough. For me, it was just number 2 though. You put that at like what? Number 3, number 4, number 3?
It's roughly on order, but I said 3.
Yeah. So I liked it just a little bit more than you. So we're gonna skip over that, and instead, I guess I'll just lead off with my number 1
Let's
pick.
hear it.
My most favorite game of 2022. I really feel like there's no competition here. For me, it has to be Elden Ring. I am not a Soulsborne player. I do not play Dark Souls games. I am not a huge fan of difficulty in gaming, arbitrarily making things very hard just for the sake of making it very hard.
He's bad at games.
I just like having fun and playing casual games. I much prefer casual games. And Elden Ring made me throw away that notion because this game, my goodness, it is just so good. From probably my favorite thing about it, which is just the insane amount of story and lore that is shown, not said. You just experience it by moving around the world and seeing things the way they are. It makes you want to learn more about the environment that you're playing in. And then when you see the most insane creature you've ever seen, you're like, wow, that looks horrendous. And then you realize you have to fight it. It's like, I have to kill that now. I don't want to. It's scary. And then you sort of get into this cycle of discovering some interesting, cool thing, realizing you're probably going to have to kill that thing, realizing it's as hard, if not harder, to kill than it looks, and then sort of repeating, all while having really engaging combat mechanics and a crafting system, which I think was a first for the Soulsborne games. I don't think, unless you go all the way back to like Kingsfield, which is like 90s, yeah, like super old From Software
I
games.
hardly even know her.
Yeah. I think this would be the first instance of crafting, and it's done well. I didn't use it that much, but you can take it as far as you would want and really pursue that style of game, which I think they do a really good job of in Elden Ring. There's no one play style that's immediately better than any others, except for launch. On launch, if you were a mage, you were overpowered, but then they patched that out, thankfully. But other than that, this game is just, I cannot express to you enough how much I recommend it. Please, if you're going to be your first From Software game, it's not as bad as I think Dark Souls 3. I think Dark Souls 3 would be a little bit harder. I think Sekiro is harder, man. I mean, for those who've played FromSoft, that might be a hot take.
That's the game with the giant monkey.
Yes, it has the giant monkey.
And there's more to it. I won't say more.
Yeah, but
The monkey.
I didn't find this one to be that bad. So if it's gonna be your first foray into From Software, extreme difficult gaming, definitely check it out. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough.
No. Hard games. Good games, bad games. What if we're talking about fun game?
I want to learn about fun games.
Fun games. Now, my number 1 game of 2022. And I can hear all of the folks, their drum roll and they're whispering. Oh, you settle down. Shh. My number 1 game of 2022 is Fortnite.
It's really? It's
Fortnite. I was really torn. Like, should I do Neon White or should I do Fortnite? I don't know. But Fortnite, I had never played it up until last year in August. Never touched Fortnite. I was like,
really?
Yeah, because I was like, I haven't played it for so long. What's the point in playing? Let me just keep not playing it. And then the no build mode came out, and then they made it the permanent thing.
Yeah,
in
that
the
brought a
summer.
lot of people to the game.
Yeah, and my friends started playing. They were like, "Hop on," and we won the first match I played. We won.
Dude, that's skill-based matchmaking.
So
Yo, they got a noob in the lobby.
So it was like, oh man. I mean, Fortnite. Listen, say what you want about Fortnite, but it's fun, and I love to play it. The best way I can put it is that back in the day, back when it first came out, it was really fun to hate. I love to hate it, but now I kind of hate to love it. I'm like, why is this game so fun? I'm like, this is.
It just scratches that part of your brain that you didn't know you needed scratched until you played it. Yeah. I played Fortnite way back, season 1 type stuff. John Wick was in the battle pass.
Yeah, before they had fish stick. Or was fish stick?
I don't remember. Fish stick might have been pretty old.
Pre-fish stick and post-fish stick.
There was bad Fortnite and good Fortnite. Yeah, I played it way back then, and I really liked it. It was like, the schoolyard video game, the equivalent, of all your friends came home from school and, hop on Fortnite. But this was like, for us, early high school. So like
2015, 16?
Yeah, somewhere in high school. So we were, at the end of our schoolyard type gaming. Our perhaps games were more like Halo Reach, Black Ops 2, stuff that everyone would go home and play. At least that's how it was for me.
I was just like all Minecraft.
Yeah, I was into Minecraft too. If you had Minecraft like around 2012, you were playing that on your dad's computer, in the workroom.
On Swagtown was our world's name.
Swag.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah, wow. We all shared these memories, but for me, Fortnite, I played that, way back then, and then I just forgot about it, man. Like when they brought back no build mode, I was like, that's just how I played Fortnite originally with no build. Like nobody really built at all, except for if you wanted to get on a rooftop or something. So when you start watching like these days, like Fortnite in 2023, yeah, that's a little don't know how accessible that is for new players. But the build mode, like this is how you were able to get into the game and find like, no, it's actually really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I look at build mode and I'm just like, I just like no build so much that I have no interest in even trying out the original, build mode, even for the sake of, hey, okay, well, let's see. I like this game a lot. Let's see what this game was intended to be like. I'm fine how I am. Like this, a lot of people say that build mode is easier because people are really bad at shooting on there. But you know what? Fortnite for me, builder, I hardly even know one. I don't know what that is. They have funny dances. Battle Pass, I don't know how I feel about that, all the microtransactions. But
it's a little predatory.
Yeah.
I think it really preys on the young mind. They see their cool skin from the TV show that they watch, and they really want to play as that character, so they just, use the credit card.
Yeah, but me as a responsible adult who spent billions of dollars of my own money on the game, and putting all the money stuff aside, it's a free-to-play game. The gameplay, in a vacuum, me likes it a lot. Me thinks it is my favorite game of 2020.
That is such...
Which I never thought I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is such an interesting take.
Yeah.
We gotta love the hot takes here on Baton Pass! Because if there's anything that we have, it's hot takes.
Some are cold, though. Some have been sitting out for a while. Room temperature, I like to call them.
They've been sizzling. They've
simmered.
Yeah.
Simmered down. Reduced sauce, even.
Well, we had other stuff that we wanted to talk about, but I think we're really running late on time here.
We're coming up on time because we just love games so much.
I think perhaps for the next couple episodes we won't do something as structured as this, but for the first episode we just wanted to have something that was a little bit more, structured, just helped us, get into the whole podcasting thing. But I think from here on out we might just do a little bit more freeform content, just us talking about whatever's relevant in the video gaming industry or just something that we want to bring up.
Yeah, just wanted to introduce you to our gaming taste. So you see, I like good games like Fortnite and Little Gator Game, and Devin, he's playing, what is it, Stick Figure Mania?
All right.
What is this, Henry Stickmin 2? What is this?
No, there's no need. There's really no need for your backhanded...
My hands are down. On my knees.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for spending the time and listening to both myself and Marek talk about video games for perhaps far too long. And
Thanks a bunch.
We hope perhaps next week we will see you guys again. talking probably about just more general video game stuff and less about our top video games of any one year.
I
But
think they got a Peppa Pig game coming out. They're putting Call of Duty.
a lot of big news, man. The Evo and the new Sony Direct.
Yeah, Call of Duty. They're putting on Switch apparently, which I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Call of Duty, it's just not gonna run well. But we can get into that next week. So if you want to hear more about that, tune in again. My name's Devin.
My name is Marek.
And thank you guys so much for joining us on
Baton Pass.